Hey everybody. Well, welcome to my latest video here on YouTube. This is another one of my favorites videos. This here is my all-time favorite basketball player. Detroit Pistons basketball player, to be exact. Bill Laimbeer. Yes sir, I sure remember Bill Laimbeer playing a lot of games on TV, especially back in the early 90s when the bad boys were running wild. Had a lot of good battles with Bill Cartwright from the Chicago Bulls, I remember. Had a lot of battles under the basket with him. Elbows and flying away and wearing the face mask so he didn't get his nose broken or teeth knocked out or whatever. Yeah, there was Bill Cartwright, there was Charles Oakley, Greg Ostertag, there was who I used to call goons under the basket. Yep, good times back in those days watching Piston games. Especially Bill Laimbeer playing against those tough guys. Charles Oakley from the Knicks and Greg Ostertag from the Spurs, I believe that was. Felton Spencer from the Trailblazers. So, Bill Laimbeer. William J. Laimbeer Jr., that's his full name. He was born today in 1957, May the 19th, 1957, so he turned 69 today. He was born in Boston, Massachusetts. He is an American former professional basketball coach and player who spent the majority of his career with the Detroit Pistons. Known for his physical style of play, he played a big part in the Pistons earning the nickname the Bad Boys in the mid-1980s before helping them win back-to-back NBA championships. Yep, I remember back when I first started watching Piston games on TV, it was guys like Kelly Tripucka, Isaiah Thomas, Adrian Dantley. And I didn't really remember too much about Bill Laimbeer until he got to the NBA Finals in 1988 for the first time and lost, but then won back-to-back championships in 89 and 90. First one against the Lakers and then against Portland in 1990. So in his National Basketball Association career, Laimbeer was known for his 11-year tenure with the Detroit Pistons during their Bad Boys era. Although a solid shooter and rebounder, he actually had a career free throw percentage of 83.7%, actually. Really, really good for a big man. Don't find too many big men nowadays with that kind of free throw percentage. Laimbeer became notorious for his physical play and reputation for delivering hard, often flagrant fouls. Laimbeer played at center with Hall of Fame backcourt guards Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars, and forward Dennis Rodman, winning back-to-back NBA championships in 1989 and 1990 with the Pistons, and being named an NBA All-Star 4 times. Prior to the NBA, he played for the University of Notre Dame and Palos Verdes High School in Southern California. After his playing career, Laimbeer served as the head coach and general manager of the Detroit Shock in the WNBA from 2002 to 2009, coaching the team to 3 league championships in 2003, 2006, and 2008. He was the head coach of the New York Liberty from 2013 to 2017, and the head coach of the Las Vegas Aces from 2018 until 2021. He has twice been named the WNBA's Coach of the Year, and was a head coach in the 2019 WNBA All-Star Game in Las Vegas. Laimbeer played both center and power forward at a height of 6 feet 11 inches and weight of 245 pounds. He was at Notre Dame starting in 1975, but was declared scholastically ineligible midway through his freshman season in January 1976. To regain his eligibility, Laimbeer spent 2 semesters at Owens Technical College in Toledo, Ohio, a city where he would live for more than the next decade, and returned to Notre Dame for the 1977-78 season. After college, in which he made it as far as the Final Four of the NCAA tournament in 1978, Laimbeer was chosen in the 1979 NBA draft by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Interesting, because the Pistons just finished playing Cleveland in the playoffs, and lost, of course. Very sad last game. But here's a guy who played in the NBA for both Cleveland and Detroit. He was drafted in 79 by the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 3rd round with the 65th overall pick. Cleveland hesitated to sign him to a contract, so Laimbeer spent his first professional season in Europe. He played in Italy for the Pinti Inox Brescia, where he averaged 21.1 points and 12.5 rebounds. That's better than he did in the NBA, actually, on average. First NBA game of Bill Laimbeer. Laimbeer returned to play for the Cavaliers in 1980. He made his NBA debut on October the 10th in the 1980-81 season opener for Cleveland at the Boston Garden, against the Celtics. Cleveland lost the game 130-103. Laimbeer came in off the bench and played 10 minutes, taking 2 shots, making none, grabbing 2 defensive rebounds, and committing 1 foul. Mike Mitchell led the Cavaliers with 34 points and 11 rebounds, while Randy Smith scored 24 and Chad Kinch came off the bench for 10. 3 players, Dave Robish, Kenny Carr, and Roger Fegley, each had 4 assists. For Boston, M.L. Carr led with 25 points, as all 5 starters and 3 reserves scored in double figures. Cedric Maxwell had 9 rebounds, and 4 players, Larry Bird, Maxwell, Chris Ford, the former Piston, and Tiny Archibald, each had 4 assists. Laimbeer wore jersey number 41 with Cleveland. He had worn number 52 in college with Notre Dame, by the way. He was a reserve for the entire 1980-81 season and started only 4 games for the 1981-82 team. But on February the 16th, 1982, Laimbeer was traded to the Detroit Pistons, where he remained for the rest of his career. The trade details were: Laimbeer was traded by the Cleveland Cavaliers with Kenny Carr to the Detroit Pistons for Phil Hubbard, Paul Mokeski, a 1982 first-round draft pick, John Bagley was later chosen, and a 1982 second-round draft pick, Dave Magley was later selected. He was immediately installed as the Pistons' starting center, switching to jersey number 40 for the rest of his career. With the Pistons, Laimbeer made the All-Star team in the NBA in 1983, 1984, 1985, and 1987. He was the NBA rebounding leader for the 1985-86 season. Bill Laimbeer's best NBA game in points versus game score. Laimbeer's best game in terms of most points scored happened on 2 occasions, both during the 1984-85 season. He scored 35 points on January the 2nd, 1985 against his former team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then scored 35 again on January 26, 1985 against the Seattle Supersonics. BasketballReference.com gives the Cleveland game a higher game score, which is a composite stat that takes into consideration all events by a player in a game. So I will choose that one as Laimbeer's all-time best game. But then, I had to dig a little deeper, as I often do, and I decided to try to see what game Bill Laimbeer played that gave him his highest game score of his career. So overall, though, taking everything into consideration, the best game Laimbeer ever played in the NBA, the one that gets the highest game score of any that he ever played, took place on January the 26th, 1990, happened to be exactly 5 years after the Seattle game that he scored 35 in. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. January the 26th, 1990, against the Phoenix Suns. The game score for that one for Laimbeer is 34.8, higher than both of the 1985 games I mentioned before. In this game, played at the Pistons' then home court, the Palace of Auburn Hills, Detroit won the game 107-103 on the strength of their first and third quarter performance, in which they outscored the Suns by 7 in each quarter. The Suns won the second quarter by 10, and the fourth was tied. Laimbeer himself led the Pistons with 31 points in 41 minutes, shooting 10 of 14 from the field, including 5 of 8 on 3-pointers, 5 of 6 on 2-pointers, and 6 of 8 from the free throw line. The thing that really put him over the top was his defense, in which he grabbed 23 rebounds, 5 offensive and 18 defensive, and 4 blocked shots. He also chipped in with 1 assist and committed 5 fouls. Isaiah Thomas also had a very impressive game for Detroit, getting 12 assists and scoring 27 points. For Phoenix, Kevin Johnson scored a game-high 34 points and led the Suns with 6 assists. Tom Chambers played a great game too, grabbing 13 rebounds and scoring 27 points. The Pistons went on that season to defeat Portland in the NBA Finals 4-1 for their second straight championship. Bill Laimbeer's last game. Laimbeer played his last game in the NBA on November the 28th, 1993, for the Pistons at the Palace against the Golden State Warriors, a game Detroit lost 91-88. Laimbeer started and played 23 minutes, shot just 1 of 6 from the field for 2 points, with 6 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 foul. 3 days later, Laimbeer retired at age 36, after an incident in practice with Isaiah Thomas that led to Thomas breaking his hand. And once I read about this, I suddenly remembered all this stuff, what happened with Laimbeer when he retired. Laimbeer, upset over the fight as well as worried over the reaction of Pistons fans for injuring their team captain, decided to retire, believing the fight with Isaiah was his quote-unquote downfall. He announced his retirement after a meeting with Thomas and head coach Don Chaney that ended with him and Thomas teary-eyed and remaining best friends. Laimbeer had his jersey number 40 retired by the Pistons in February 1995. He remains the franchise's all-time leader in career rebounds. Laimbeer had several nicknames when he played, none of which I ever remember him being called. Lambs, Lamb, Freddy, the Prince of Darkness, His Heinous, Counterfeit Bill, and the Incredible Hulk. He must have been, or they must have, the nicknames must have been made up by opposing players and broadcasters, because I never heard Pistons legendary TV man George Blaha, who is pretty sharp with nicknames and catchphrases, use any of those for Laimbeer. Now, what about Bill Laimbeer's top 3 and bottom 3? So who were the teams Laimbeer did the best against, and who were his toughest opponents? Let's find out. He played the most games against the Indiana Pacers, 76, and the fewest against Detroit and Minnesota, only 9 each. Interestingly, in his Cleveland days, he started 5 of 9 games against Detroit, averaging 25.9 minutes, 7 points, 6.9 rebounds, and 1.9 assists per game. The 3 teams who Laimbeer had the highest points per game average against were number 1, the Golden State Warriors, 15.3. Number 2, the Dallas Mavericks, 14.9. And number 3, the Phoenix Suns, 13.8. It would have been interesting to see if Seattle would have cracked the top 3, but BasketballReference.com only lists teams that are currently in existence. Seattle's records are included under Oklahoma City, where Seattle's team moved to in 2008, well after Laimbeer retired. And no, Oklahoma City, or Seattle when Laimbeer played, are not in his top 3, but 4th at 13.7. Just missed. And now, who are the 3 teams who Laimbeer struggled against the most? Discounting Detroit and Minnesota, Charlotte, Miami, and Orlando because of small sample size, considering the teams who were in existence during Laimbeer's entire career, the teams he struggled most against were, number 1, the Portland Trail Blazers, 11.6 points per game. Number 2, the San Diego and Los Angeles Clippers, 12.0. And number 3, the Boston Celtics, 12.3. If the other 5 teams had been included, 3 of them would have ranked tougher than Portland. Detroit, 7.0 in the days before he became a starter. Minnesota, 10.3, but not in existence in Laimbeer's first 8 seasons. And Miami, 10.6, like the T-Wolves, not in existence until 1988-89, the Miami Heat. Charlotte Hornets, which also started play in 88-89, would have tied for second with the Clippers at 12.0, and the Orlando Magic, which began play in 89-90, would have been outside the bottom 3 at 12.6. So, now, about Bill Laimbeer's career statistics. For his NBA career, Laimbeer played in 1,068 regular season games, starting 861 of them. He played 33,956 minutes, which is 99th all time. He made 5,574 field goals in 11,198 attempts for a .498 percentage, made 202 three-pointers in 619 attempts for a .326 percentage. He made 5,372 two-pointers in 10,579 attempts for a .508 percentage, made 2,440 free throws in 2,916 attempts for an .837 percentage, grabbed 2,819 offensive rebounds, which is 37th all time, for a per game average of 2.6, which is 73rd all time. Grabbed 7,581 defensive rebounds, 23rd all time, for a per game average of 7.1, 39th all time. Grabbed 10,400 total rebounds, 41st all time, including a Piston franchise record 9,430. His rebounds per game average of 9.7 ranks 66th all time. He also totaled 2,184 assists, 2.0 assists per game, 710 steals, 965 blocks, 1,594 turnovers, 3,633 personal fouls, 23rd all time, and 13,790 points, 12.9 points per game. Laimbeer never had a triple-double in his career. That's points, rebounds, and assists in double figures in one game. In the NBA playoffs, Laimbeer's teams played 23 series in 9 years, winning 16 and losing 7. He played in 113 playoff games, averaging 33.1 minutes, 12.0 points, 9.7 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 0.7 steal, less than 1, and 0.7 block per game. He played in 3 NBA Finals, winning 2, 1989 over the LA Lakers in 4 games, and 1990 over the Portland Trail Blazers in 5, and losing 1, 1988 to the Lakers in 7. Laimbeer has not yet been elected to the Basketball Hall of Fame. BasketballReference.com gives his Hall of Fame probability of someday being elected at 26.1%. This puts him 154th of 250 players ranked. The probability is based on statistics and accomplishments, including height, NBA championships, NBA leaderboard points, NBA peak win shares, and NBA All-Star Game selections, multiplied by weighted coefficients. I tried following their example, but I couldn't figure it out, and I'm pretty good with numbers. Maybe someone will explain it to me one day so I can understand it and not have to blindly accept their calculations. And now, the last little section I'm going to talk about is the trading cards of Bill Laimbeer. And for this, you're going to be glad that I don't have very many cards of them. A total of 1,450 cards have been issued on Bill Laimbeer between 1980-81 and 2024-25. You can thank the gods that I only own one of those, which I will show you in a bit. His rookie card is considered to be 1981-82 Topps number MW74. MW stands for Midwest. That card is valued at a median price of $7 on the trading card database, tcdb.com. My card is a 1990-91 Hoops number 108. Its median price is 99 cents. And here's the card. Right here. Oops, I got 2 copies actually, so if anyone wants one, I have an extra. 99 cents. You can get it anytime. But no, here it is. Bill Laimbeer. There is an action shot of Bill Laimbeer at home at the Palace playing against the Atlanta Hawks, and I had to look it up to see who that player was that he's guarding or being guarded by, and turns out it was Cliff Levingston, who I remember being with the Bulls and winning at least one of their championships with Michael Jordan. Cliff Levingston of the Hawks battling with Bill Laimbeer. Another power forward. So on the back here, it says Bill Laimbeer. It gives his actual college record on here. Played 69 games at Notre Dame, and he had a field goal percentage of .538, free throw percentage of .704. Not as good as his NBA field goal or free throw percentage. Better than his NBA field goal percentage by a bit. He had 433 rebounds, 509 points, and averaged 7.4 points per game. Scoring was not his thing. And it says in here that Laimbeer led the Pistons in rebounding 7 straight seasons. Yep. So there it is, the back of the card right there. Picture of Bill Laimbeer smiling. He didn't smile much during the game, that's for sure. There you have it, folks. Bill Laimbeer, my favorite Piston of all time. And that is it for today, but in the future I will be having more of these favorite videos coming up, because May is a month with a lot of birthdays of my favorite people, including John Wayne, one of my favorite actors, whose birthday is on May the 26th coming up. 2 birthdays on May the 28th. John Fogerty, my favorite of all time rock and roll singer, and Kirk Gibson, my favorite all-time baseball player and Detroit Tiger player. I can't do both of those on the same day, so I'm going to have to do one and then the other on different days, but I'll get them done. And then on May 31st, another one of my favorite actors, Clint Eastwood. He will turn 96 on May 31st. So, looking forward to those videos coming up. And yes, I am still working on my in memoriam / tribute video, which is still in progress and will be done. I can't tell you when though. So, thanks for watching and listening, everybody. Have a great day, and thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.